When I first got to WorkWave, quite literally on my first morning, our chief people officer dropped me off at my office and I walked out of the door to go say hi to some engineers that had come in that day. And the first thing that an engineer said to me is, can we talk to customers now?
How WorkWave is a very different customer in terms of engagement is they're also very bold in terms of adopting AI. And they are also very ambitious.
Hi everyone, my name is John Phelan. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at WorkWave. WorkWave as an organization is a field service management and workforce management solutions company, really serving the industries that help keep our world clean, safe, and beautiful. Focus on the pest control industries, the chemical green, fertilization and weed control, as well as commercial security and commercial cleaning.
Hi, I'm Milind Patwardhan. I lead the private equity practice here at Virtusa. We are a private equity-backed company. We are owned by EQT. And my charter here is to really create a mid-market presence for Virtusa. And that's across software publishers, which are B2B horizontal software companies, B2B vertical SaaS companies, and software-enabled companies in health tech, payments, fintech.
My name is Vikas Sahai. I head the delivery of private equity business at Virtusa. And as part of my role, I'm responsible for making sure my team delivers to the promise that we make to the customer here in WorkWave.
When I first came to WorkWave, part of our charter was on, bring back innovation. And, for us, that meant that we really had to focus the majority of our resources on building what I call door openers, things that our sales team can take to market and sell to our customers. But at the same time, we also had, technical debt, just as every company does. And so partnering with a third party, in this case, Virtusa, made a lot of sense for us to help take care of some long-running technical debt. There were two really key pieces that I identified very quickly that I felt like were absolute bottlenecks to us being able to serve our customers well, first and foremost, but secondarily, to be able to pass some technical due diligence in the future. One of our products is a WinForms application that we serve up via parallels in a SaaS world, and that's not a SaaS first application. We also had a second product line that was still underpinned by quite a bit of VB6 and classic ASP, both of which gave us challenges when it came to serving our customers well. And so we went to the market to find partners to be able to help us work through that technical issue. And we're really happy when we landed with Virtusa and started moving forward on both of those projects. So I'll focus in on one of those initiatives where we were modernizing a WinForms application. Our organization has been telling customers for the last, what I understand to be 5 to 7 years, we're going to modernize. And there have been multiple attempts to start that process, all of which have struggled to gain momentum and ultimately been scrapped for one reason or another. At times, I've heard that, when they went to third parties in the past, it had been estimated to be, a 5 to 6 year project, might cost somewhere north of $15 million to be able to complete. And, that always was not going to be palatable. With the advent of what AI has enabled us to do from an engineering perspective, it's really helped us accelerate that. That project right now, as it stands, is estimated to take somewhere between 12 and 15 months. And that certainly is incredibly palatable for us from a time perspective. And frankly, really meets the needs of our customers. One of the challenges that we had when we first talked with the Virtusa team is that we've got to be able to show progress quickly to these customers. When I first joined WorkWave, our North Star was really clearly defined by our CEO. He had done a great job coming in and anchoring us on where we needed to go and grow as a business. The biggest charter for me on the technology side was about bringing back our innovative spirit. And that's something that we really focused on from day one. Organizationally, we had built lots of little things, lots of features and functions, but driving those big innovative capabilities we just weren't spending enough time to do that. We were too focused in too many different areas to really put the energy in. We weren't engaging with our customers from an engineering perspective in the way that we need to. We weren't being hyper collaborative. And that immediately, it was a culture change that we knew we had to drive. I'm a big believer in co-creation, where we partner with customers, arm in arm as we build new capabilities, because we can sit in our ivory tower, pretend that we know better than everyone else, and build something. And we're always going to miss the mark by some amount. But if we partner with customers and we work arm in arm with them, we still won't hit a bullseye every single time, but our dispersion is going to be much closer to center. And so that was a big culture change for us. The second big culture change that I would say we had to drive was we had to move out of this idea of date-driven development. It didn't matter what we did as long as we hit a particular date. And clearly to me, all that matters is that we provide value to our customers. Those two big opportunities presented themselves pretty quickly as they were the feedback from our team on the things that they wanted to do and the challenges that they were facing. And so I'm really excited by the progress that we made there.
That is the general thematic of the private equity practice at Virtusa today, that we are essentially helping companies modernize. We're helping companies capture AI dividend for existing products through our partnership with Player Zero. We are, in a way, as a part of these partnerships, delivering into very specific outcomes. And in that process, we are also enabling our customers to really think how they are going to reimagine their entire factory floor. And it's all about trying to collaborate together to really bring in the perspectives of many that Virtusa has. So we are doing a bunch of modernization engagements of different types. We are moving lots of different kinds of legacy systems with different ages or lineage into a modern way of using modern ways of doing things and moving them to a modern world. And those are the perspectives that we have a unique vantage point to bring to the context of one that John engineers have for the many years that they have been with WorkWave, right? It's about bringing in these diverse perspectives, which I call as, perspectives of many to the perspective of one. And that is where the partnership really becomes successful. That alignment needs to go to the next level. I knew that we would get that alignment from John, and that is very key. And the second thing is that given our understanding of how private equity works and given where the EQT and HG investments are in WorkWave, John is also on a schedule, right? So it is just a question of, what do you do? So, you basically build good teams. You have a very good, healthy spend of R&D as a function of revenue, and you can continue to be on that clip. That is not happening over the last 2-3 years. And with AI coming in, the growth rates of these companies have dropped. And these companies are already labor arbitraged. So it's not that, no software company today doesn't have a good distribution of, high cost, low cost, engineers. The question is that AI is allowing you to do things now much faster, as we discussed. The enablement of that is going to be the enterprises who buy from John. They really need all of these new age kind of tools to be able to really maximize their opportunity, right? And so in general, if you really ask me, today the value creation has to be about going really granular about changing the true nuts and bolts in a company, right? It's not just about doing fundamental transformation at the fringes or at the edges that I talked about previously. And it really takes good product mindset, engineering mindset to partner with especially technology companies so that we can really apply our collective knowledge in meaningful ways to really achieve those transformations.
With any business, there's only so many dollars to go around. And one of the things that I feel like I'm chartered with every day is how do we spend those dollars in the most effective way possible? One aspect of our partnership with Virtusa has been really taking on the day-to-day care and feeding for a couple of our international products. And that has to happen incredibly well because we still have customers to serve every day, and we need to do an incredible job for them. And so by being able to use technology like Player Zero to help those teams not only ramp up quicker, but be able to respond to those customer needs on a regular basis and very consistently, has been a real benefit for us. We have seen great progress. We onboarded our first product, maybe 60 days, 75 days ago. And we had over 100 issues open with our customers when we onboarded that product. We've reduced that number by 2/3 with a brand new team by being able to enable them to ramp up quicker using AI, being able to ramp up quicker with that expertise that would have otherwise been hard to replicate from replacing years of expertise in the human mind. And so it's been a real benefit for us to be able to enable those teams really quickly to be able to deliver value to the customers when they have open and outstanding issues.
I think AI has solved for the capacity problem for software companies, right? Today, at Virtusa in November, when I took the charter to set up this private equity business, the charter was very clear that we are going to be going to market for software companies and technology buyers or services buyers like John, for example, a CTO profile, which essentially allows us to build on the fundamental principles of Virtusa, which is customer first, in the sense that know the customer that they are trying to serve. How do you pull that back into what John is asking you to do? And how best do you bring the various capabilities that Virtusa has, right, configurations, and attack that as a single North Star problem? So essentially what that really means is that we are not looking at how much of headcount I can deploy, at what margins I can deploy. We're fundamentally looking at time, what value we want to deliver incrementally over that period of time, and how are we going to do it? How are we going to jointly do it in certain areas? How are we going to own certain pieces in certain areas to provide John the flexibility to leverage the right people? We definitely don't have all of the answers as Virtusa as a company, nor does John as WorkWave as a company, because we are in times where I think true collaborative and co-development or co-creation opportunities exist to be able to drive the right impact, leveraging AI, in this case, working with John's core team, our core AI teams, looking at the problems on hand and applying different ways of addressing that, all of them having a common theme that they were all AI native ways of doing things. So dealing from humans, and the outcomes were absolutely dealing from humans, and that's the way we are rolling here.
For me, there's two things that ultimately drive if our strategy is working. One is, are we producing new products that our customers will buy from us? And so that is, first and foremost, the most important metric for us is, are we serving the customers well and they're finding value in what we deliver? That shows up in two different ways for us organizationally. First and foremost, it shows up with our customers continuing to renew, right? We're a SaaS software business. This should be everyone's number one metric. Do customers want to continue to do business with you? Because they have a choice. They can vote with their feet at any time. The second is, do they buy the new things that we're building? Because they are valuable to their business. And, both of those are incredibly important metrics. For me as the engineer, those are both a little bit later in the process. And so, when I think about, what AI has helped me do from an acceleration perspective, it's all about how do I prepare for those two things. And we look at a metric internally that combines the number of pull requests that we make aligned with the complexity of those pull requests, and to see how much faster we can either serve a customer who has an issue or to develop some new capability that's rich in functionality that will provide value to those customers. That really is my metric. That metric, though, just ultimately feeds into, does it serve the customer well? Is the customer going to buy something of value? If we do our jobs right and we produce things of value, then our customers will be with us for decades. I've long felt that I want relationships that don't just last years, or a single, SaaS renewal cycle. I want relationships that last for decades. And that really is underpinned by providing value to them for what they use today and providing new things of value that help them run their business more efficiently. And AI allowing us to move faster is a great enabler for that.
We stand very, very strong in terms of our AI first approach. We embellish that approach in the customer engagements that we do, and that's what we're doing at WorkWave. Our motto is to transform the customer experience and use the AI first principle. When we started engaging WorkWave, or they started engaging us, our direction of engagement was way different than what we will do traditionally with any other players. We worked collectively to figure out solutions and incrementally build solutions, demonstrate the capability and build on top of it, because that kind of started gaining confidence with WorkWave. And I think that has tremendously helped us in terms of how we have established that faith and that trust with WorkWave and its board as well, that we are not just talking AI first, we are delivering incrementally with AI first with our solutions, which kind of has gone a long way in terms of building this partnership. What just started as one project in late December had spawned into 5 different projects in 2 months, because there was tremendous value we could show them in terms of the AI first approach we can take, tech debt modernization, reimagining the customer experience, or even streamlining their support in terms of how we can be more effective from a support standpoint as well. As John mentioned, right, one of the challenges thrown to us was the tech modernization, tech debt. And this has been a legacy application sitting with them for last many years. And what we did was we brought in our AI first mindset, AI first tools to make sure that how do we solve this tech debt modernization, so that we can show very quickly the new reimagined customer experience to John and his customer, so that they can start seeing the value of how fast it can go and what kind of value it can deliver. While we did that, we also saw opportunities where we can basically go into some of the areas in the WorkWave's business where we could reduce some of their support time, reduce the backlog of support tickets using our partner as Player Zero, and make sure that there's an AI dividend that we bring there, while we maximize that dividend to bring value into the tech debt modernization as well. I think at this point of time, there's a tremendous value that WorkWave is getting out of it. If you look at the overall support work, for example, I think it has come down by 50% in terms of overall cost that WorkWave has. Even in the tech debt modernization, I think what it was taking over the last 7 years to figure out, now it is like next 12 to 15 months that will deliver. And overall productivity is like code and all that we generate is 60-70% more productive in terms of how we are generating and how we are using AI. So I think there's tremendous value in terms of the specific top line and bottom line that they're seeing. And as we progress more, we will kind of bring more dividends in front of them. Yeah, see, there's a very interesting, when we took up the large program, which was the Windows team modernization program from WorkWave, they had already developed a framework in AI, which was Logic Loom. And they wanted us to see if we can evaluate that and take it forward and bring more capabilities on top of it. And I think we took a very fair assessment of what that tool capability is. And we did our best to figure out what additional capabilities we build before we put it into our harness, the AI harness, to modernize. And that stood out really well, because with one thing that WorkWave that works really good for us is the one team approach. As I said, I think we need to build incremental success, and that's what we are doing. We are solving complex problems, peeling the complexity one by one. And we are demonstrating them, we are showcasing them, not only demonstrating, but we are taking it to a path to production, right? Some of the things that we are doing is also towards some of the fairs or conferences that they are doing with their customers, where we are going to showcase these capabilities. So I think the incremental build out of these capabilities and how we are demonstrating them and how we are taking it out to productionize that is a key thing in terms of how we keep building this confidence with them. And they have been very ambitious in terms of trying out tools, trying out solutions, and making sure that they go fast on all this. And that has created a lot of differentiation as how we look at WorkWave partnership.
Really excited for what the future holds as we look to deliver our first persona to some pilot customers later this year in the September timeframe in 2026. But we've already seen great progress in the weekly touch points that we do with Virtusa, and really has not just myself, but the rest of our ELT, as well as members of our board, excited about the progress that we're making. In today's day and age, speed is incredibly important. With the advent of AI, we can run faster than we've ever been able to run before. And so we've been really focused on, how do we build great speed? And some of that is education of our own teams and how to take advantage of these new technologies. But some of that is, what ultimately drove us to partner with Virtusa. And that is, you can't go super fast on some aged technology stacks. There just aren't as many people in the world today who know VB6 or who know a classic ASP or who are writing WinForms application, as there are, folks that are writing, cloud native applications every single day. They're using React for front ends. And so part of our modernization journey is not only to get a more solid, stable, and secure platform, but it's also to help us be able to move much more quickly. The work that we're doing today with Virtusa on two of our primary product lines, really brings us to one cohesive React ecosystem from a front end perspective. And that enables us to be able to move much more quickly and efficiently in each of those product lines individually, but also support something that is really important for us organizationally, and that is our shared services strategy. So we build things one time that can serve customers in each of our ecosystems. If I had to stitch that into a classic ASP and then go stitch that into a WinForms application and each of the other unique front ends, that would be much more time consuming. And so moving fast is really important, and we're certainly doing that across a variety of different topics, but also making sure that the platforms are in a place where we can take best advantage of that speed is critically important for us. And that's why moving quickly on all fronts, not just on the innovation side, is critically important. We've got to be able to bring our customers with us on this journey, and that's critically important to us. And to do that, we've got to make sure that we make the right investments, both in keeping our platforms current, but also building great new things that they can take advantage of that drive value to their business.